Welcome viewers once again to the Navshikhar channel of RCI, wherein we had been discussing lot of issues and topics related to disability, and I hope you had been enjoying this channel and giving your feedback to us. The topic of today's presentation is the role of biomedical and engineering in improving the quality of life of persons with disability. And to present this topic, we have in our studio Dr. Jayashree Santosh from IIT Delhi. Welcome, Dr. Jayashree Santosh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Santosh had been working with IIT for the past many years now, and she is an eminent scholar and who has worked a lot in the field of biomedical and engineering. We are very happy and delighted to have you, ma'am, here in our studio.
Thank you.
Well, friends, as you know, there are number of services, host of services, if I may say, are required for the rehabilitation of persons with disability. For example, medical services, psychological services, information services, therapeutic services, and so on and so forth. And we have also realized, for the last few years, we have seen that technology has made a great impact in our lives. And it has also made a great impact in the lives of people with disability as well. And that is why computer-assisted instruction has become so common and so useful in the lives of people with disability. Similarly, another addition, like the use of biomedical and engineering, has incorporated a lot of input in special education. So it's a topic of great interest to us all, and it's a special topic, and I'm sure you all will enjoy this topic and learn a lot how biomedical and engineering has helped in improving the quality of life of our children and also the persons with disability. It's not only help in learning the skills, but also improving the effectiveness in day-to-day life. So with this, I think I hand over the mic to Dr. Santosh, and before I do that, I would like to remind all my viewers that you can always ask questions by calling us on our numbers, which will be scrolling time to time, और आप हमको फैक्स भी कर सकते हैं, और हमारे नंबर्स अभी आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख जाएंगे, आप उन पे कॉल भी कर सकते हैं. And please don't hesitate to ask questions, because that's a very, very important feedback to all of us. Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thank
Please
you.
get
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am so glad to be here to speak on the topic which is given to me, which is the role of biomedical engineering in improving the quality of life of a person with a disability. Now, to talk a bit on the biomedical engineering, okay, let us divide the topic into two. That is, first the biomedical engineering, then the improving the quality of the life of a person with disability. So let me start the first part, which is the biomedical engineering. Now, I am speaking this from my own experience, which I am having for the last 10 years. I am solely working in the field of biomedical engineering only. My initial education in BTech in electrical engineering and then MTech in computer science and engineering, I got a chance to do a PhD in biomedical engineering. That is the first time I get inducted into this, the beautiful science of biomedical engineering, which I say which can integrate all the other discipline very well into it. It is a science which I said integrates biological, physical, chemical and computational science along with its all engineering principles to study the complete human body interaction. So, to me, I can very well say that it is the science which is most closer to human. Now, this particular discipline, it not only advocates the fundamental concepts, it not only creates knowledge from the cellular level to the organ level, it not only develops innovative biologics, innovative implants, innovative processes, innovative materials, and innovative various devices. It can also provide a very informative approach for the prevention of diseases, for the diagnosis of diseases, and for the treatment of the diseases.
I see.
Yeah, that is it. Now, along with this, it can play a very major role in rehabilitation also. So, as such, I can say that this particular biomedical engineering field can take over the overall healthcare system of any country. This is not me saying, this is one of the fundamental working principle of biomedical engineering given by National Institute of Health, NIH. So, this is how the importance of this particular discipline as such in the healthcare industry.
So, that means it can affect our health overall.
It can take care of our health, because see, one of the basic aim of biomedical engineering is to facilitate the pursuit of novel ideas and techniques to bridge the gap between the engineering experts and the medical experts. See, if you take the human body, as much as medical science is there is an engineering principle also. You see the walking, you see the hearing, vision. You take any of our human body, a lot of very fine engineering technique is there. To start, even the breathing techniques, you know, it is the whole lot of aerodynamics has gone into the breathing techniques. I don't think even the aeroplane techniques have applied to that much of finite aerodynamics which we have in our own breathing technique. So, similarly, as I said, walking, if you see the walking, if you see the hearing mechanism, vision mechanism, anything, that very beautiful engineering mechanism is there, which probably as a medical science person may not be able to absorb as it is. So, this is a fine science which can bridge the gap between the engineering experts and medical experts.
Oh, lovely. So, can I say that like in our profession, the you know this gap was, जैसे कि हम लोग जब disabled लोगों के साथ काम करते हैं तो साइकोलॉजिस्ट और स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स काम करते हैं या डॉक्टर्स या स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स के साथ काम करते हैं, तो बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियरिंग का मतलब है कि इंजीनियर्स भी हमारे डॉक्टर्स और इनके साथ
yes, I will show you my slides. Exactly what you are saying is all there in the slide.
I see. So that means even engineers are also coming in and joining our field.
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, that is what exactly I said. This is basically to bridge the gap between the engineering experts and medical experts.
Sorry ma'am, why I'm asking all these questions, it's a very new field for all of us.
That
but we're so happy that even engineering has been incorporated in special education.
That is the pity of the rehabilitation in our country is so poor, because they have not come out of the importance of this particular discipline in our country. In other countries, they started working together years back. You know, that is why it has been, I mean, compared to this place.
But it's not been highlighted, or it's not been, you know, talked about.
Well, everybody was busy in their own field, and probably even now, you know, it is working together. An engineering person and a medical person is not that easy, but I have very good relations with them. I never have any problem with whomever I was interacting till now. The doctors I am talking about, or physiotherapist, or whatever it is.
So could I say that so far we had been saying that we should have an interdisciplinary team to work with people with disability, which will include, you know, doctors, psychologists, therapists and parents. But now we can include in this list engineers as well.
I will show the slide. That's exactly what I am saying. I will name each individual which can be a team member to this. Okay, so this is in a nutshell. I have just spoken about the biomedical engineering, and as such I say that this is the science, or this is the discipline which can take care of the healthcare as such. Which is a beautiful thing which can integrate many things together. It is a multidisciplinary field basically.
And maybe make life of people much more effective and much more functional.
Yeah, and when I say this, I have not said that one person has to be an expert in all of the engineering. It is not like that. It is a group activity. So those who can contribute, let us contribute along with, like medical field. You know, there are so many medical doctors at different different section. So for an orthopedic person having disability, we don't want to go to somebody else, we have an orthopedics along with a technologist, how this can be rectified for some devices, or in case of implant. So if it is an implant, then a tissue engineering will come into it, because tissue engineering is another part of biomedical engineering.
Of his, wheelchair or
Wheelchair
his,
is, yeah,
this thing. So
whatever the correct personalities has to be, means discipline has to be identified for that particular one, and then integrate and then work together. It will give marvelous solutions to whatever is the problem. So this is biomedical engineering as such. Now anybody can ask any questions right at this point onwards. I don't have any problem. But to move on, can I start the other part, which is
I think. Yeah, before that, I would like to remind my viewers that you can call us anytime at toll-free number, which is 1800112008, and our studio numbers are 265-11613. We also have a fax number, which is 265-11609. आप प्लीज़ कहीं भी हमको रोक सकते हैं, कोई भी सवाल डॉक्टर साहब से कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये टॉपिक is of great interest to all of us, and we really want to know more about this topic.
Okay. Now coming to the second part of the topic, which is improving the quality of the life of a person. Now this I can, this will be viewed.
Yeah, they'll be sure.
Okay. Now when I say the improving the quality of the life, quality of the life, the first thing which comes to our mind is independent living. Okay, that is what we all think about whenever we talk about anybody. Now first of all, I would like to use the terminology differently abled rather than disabled, because when I start working in this field for I think some 6, 7, 8 years back, I read that it is always better to use the word differently able rather than, so from
because
that time
they
onwards,
also have the abilities,
yes,
which may be
they
different.
I think sometimes I feel more ability than ourselves, so it is always, I started calling them as differently abled. So what is the concept of an independent living? Now many times I think we all feel that the problem is not the problem, because problems are always there. It is with us, with you, every time, all the time problems are. But how to deal with the problem is the problem. If you have a right approach, even the smallest problem, the Himalayan problem can be solved very amicably. But if you don't have the right approach, even the trivial problem can be turned to be very worse situations it can turn out, or it can never be solved at all. So what do you actually mean by an independent living? Okay. Now what are the concepts you think about an independent living? Whether to work for a self-determination or equal opportunities and self-respect, fine. Now demand the same choices and control in everyday lives that of non-disabled. If that is the case, that is, I need everything as a non-disabled person needs. If that is the case, it does not mean that they do not need any help from anybody or live in isolation. Once I give that, okay, this is for you, now you are able to live independently, but at the same time it does not mean that, okay, I have given everything to you, now you live in isolation, my job is over. That should not be the thing. Okay. No, it also means, when we all say independent living, that you have to grow up in our own family, have the same educational, transporting and office environment that are in line with their education, interest and capability. This is very important, because this is for the abled person also. If you if you give me something which my education does not deserve, it is going to be a disaster. If you give me something which is of not my interest, this is going to be a disaster. If you are going to give me something which is out of my capability, it is going to be. So you are not able to, you won't be able to force anybody. It is the same with a differently able. We have to see what is his or her educational level, what is his or interest, what is his or capability. Then accordingly we can provide a setup to have their own family and their own independent living. Now to achieve this, if you take this as the goal, to achieve this, a team approach is most essential, which is the thing which you have asked in the beginning.
Yeah.
A team approach is very much in. Now, what is the team members? It could be a physician, it could be a occupational speech or recreational therapist, it could be psychologist, it could be dietitians, it could be case managers, it could be technologists, it could be any of them who work in collaboration with engineer, or it could be all of them. I mean, it is depending upon the case to case basis.
Exactly.
Need not that, it need not be all of them should attack somebody if there is a, but at the same time, depending upon, you know, sometimes you really need a occupational therapist or a speech therapist to know how much he cannot do or how much he can do. That is very important if we are talking, we are going to make a speech synthesizer or something, or if we are going to make any orthopedical things, we should know how much movement he can have or he cannot have after some time. So, these kind of inputs is very much mandatory from occupational therapist and a doctor or orthopedist, or sometimes kind of dietitian. So, I just pointed out some of them, and psychologists if they have to really work with the cognition. So, these personalities are needed at some point of time, or you know, depending upon case to case basis.
Engineers will come under technologists.
Because finally, if it is like I said, to have some device. Now, when I talk about my experience, I am an engineer, so I will say what role, or a technologist, what role I played in improving the quality or improving the life of a differently abled person. Now, when I say the main objective is realistic expectations of activities that a differently abled person eventually should be able to do, so that he can set his goal. This is with the help of the team member, and goals are set during rehabilitation with a medical team. The team should help the individual to learn new ways to manage activities of daily living, that we call it as the independent living. Now, so this is needed to set the goal basically. Okay. Now, this is again I am just talking about the rehabilitative care. Actually, I inducted to this field with a realistic situations, because when I was working as a pure technologist, as an engineering, as an engineer, there was a need from that neurosurgeon. He called up to the biomedical engineering, because I closely associated with there. He was requesting us, is there any chance to rehabilitate one of the person who got a severely spine damage.
Okay.
So, he was a very young boy, he was not able, he was as any other student, he was working with computers and everything, and all of a sudden he became a paraplegic.
Okay.
Yeah, he met with a road accident, and so after gaining a little bit movement of his hand, the neurosurgeon was very keen to ask us that is there any way for him to
be independent,
or at least to operate the computer, because he was very keen to do that, as any student of that age, 13-14 years. So, this is how first I went to Apollo Hospital, seen the boy, and then we started looking into his movement, hand movement and things like that. The first device has come out from. So, that is the thing which I said, that a team is very much needed, unless and until the doctor contacted me, and then I may not be coming to this particular discipline or this area, and I found that this is very much not only interesting, it is a very satisfied area where he could finally he could use the keypad and use the machine.
तो डॉक्टर साहब, क्या मैं ये कह सकते हैं हम लोग कि जैसे हम लोग पहले कहते थे कि जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि टू हेल्प अ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी फॉर टू रिहैबिलिटेट we require a teamwork, and we used to have those, मतलब हमारे वो सारे लोग आते थे जो मैंने अभी नाम लिए, पर हमारी लिस्ट में आपकी इजाज़त से कि उनमें एक और भी ऐड हो गए हैं जो कि टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट हैं। और जैसे अभी आपने एग्जाम्पल दिया कि भाई मान लीजिए अब उनको व्हीलचेयर में बिठाना है या कैलिपर्स देने हैं, कुछ भी देना है, इंजीनियरिंग का रोल या टेक्नोलॉजी का रोल ये है, जो टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट का रोल ये होगा कि भाई किस तरह का मटेरियल लगाना है, कौन सा उनको ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा।
You talk about the wheelchair, I will say that the best thing is, suppose there is nobody to attend him for 2, 3, 4 seconds, you know, so he or she can operate the wheelchair by himself.
तो उसमें इंजीनियरिंग का रोल है ना?
What kind of ability he needs to operate the wheelchair?
Right.
Whether his eye movement, because he I do not know what he, as we call it as the residual ability, what ability he has. We have to say whether he has an eye movement only, or whether he has some small pressing abilities there, or simply he can blow only. So what kind of ability he or she has, so that he can at least call an attendant in case of an emergency.
पर हमारे व्यूअर्स जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो अपनी आई थिंक उनको जो लिस्ट है उसको थोड़ा अपग्रेड करना पड़ेगा, टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट भी उनमें डालना पड़ेगा।
टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट होगा तभी तो हम डेवलप करेंगे।
तो हाँ यार, जैसे आपको कांटेक्ट हुआ तो you got interested in this field. Likewise, we should get in touch with the engineers to make rehabilitation more successful. Am I right?
And there are so many work which is already done in this field with help of engineers. Okay. So this is again vocational rehabilitation process, again to see that what kind of what is the person's basic skills, depending upon his physical capabilities and their cognitive capabilities. Sometimes this cognitive capability things comes, because their cognition should be intact. Sometimes, not all the time, like spastic children, there are exceptions like that. But to assess their residual ability, it is always better that we properly get the information. Like if the person is undergoing a physiotherapy, maybe his capability is going to improve a little bit after some time. So we will get the exact information from the physiotherapist that how much movement, for example, I am saying he or she is going to get, so that we can design certain things according to that.
इसका मतलब पूरा असेसमेंट करना पड़ेगा पहले।
is very important,
very important. तभी आप लोग हेल्प कर सकते हो, बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियर्स।
इट इज नॉट दैट तभी हम तो at any stage help कर सकते हैं, but for that person it would be more advantageous and otherwise if his physiotherapy is going on, he can get a more movement, but we have restricted to little bit only. So that means his things ended there.
So it emphasized teamwork again.
So it is always better to get a proper assessment of that person for his own betterment, not for us. We can work at any stage. जितना capability है उसके हिसाब से हम करेंगे. But it is okay and it is good if we will come to know that no, he can have some more capability, so that something more can be added to this. So this is what I would like to point out. So
कहने का मतलब है कि जो भी आपका प्रोग्राम बनेगा, चाहे वो डिवाइस बने, चाहे वो आपको प्रोग्राम देना है, वो पूरी असेसमेंट के बाद देना है।
असेसमेंट के बाद देगा तो जिसको दे रहे हैं उसके लिए फायदा होगा,
राइट? नहीं तो कोई फायदा नहीं।
फायदा होगा, but it will, I will not say that it is the full-fledged device which he can operate.
Right. The training or any assistive device should be based on the report on the proper assessment.
फिर उनके लिए अच्छा होगा, the user get the benefit of that. That's what I would like to say. Now coming to the work, because if you talk about the role of biomedicine, there is, you can talk on months together, because this is a discipline itself in the engineering curriculum. So that even the whole biomedical engineering BTech degree has been given, so there is no end to it.
I see, 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years degree is there in biomedical engineering field. Not in IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi caters only research and projects, sponsor research projects and consultancy works, but many other engineering colleges, they have a full-fledged BTech and MTech courses in biomedical engineering. Now coming to some of the experience that I had as a team in rehabilitating differently abled person. I would like to explain it here so that they will have a they can have a look into what kind of or what as an engineer, as a technologist can contribute to this particular field.
तो आप अभी हम अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस बताएंगे जहाँ पे कि आपकी टीम ने पीपल विद डिफरेंट एबिलिटीज के लिए आपने क्या क्या किया है वो सब हम अपने व्यूअर्स को बताने लगे.
It is not a complete thing, but I am saying only one portion of it because I don't think I will be able to complete it in this duration. So as I said in the beginning that the case from the request from a neurosurgeon, as a team we started working to it. Then we give a project proposal to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment for rehabilitating severely spine damaged people, because I started work for a spine damaged, the spinal cord injury person. So we have given a proposal to rehabilitate, actually it is design and development of technological interface to rehabilitate spinal injury patients. Why I have taken a spinal injury patient means they are the severely disabled. I mean, if the cervical goes off, that means it can be paraplegic, it can be hemiplegic, it can be quadriplegic. So if we can provide a solution to them, it is easy to provide solution to any other kind of disability, because other disabilities will come above this. Okay, so this is how we have taken the. So in this one, there are certain. We had a first assessment again with the help of a neurologist and a neurosurgeon. We actually biomedical engineering teaches a part of medical science. It is mandatory that you have to learn a bit of the medical science as well. Then only you can do justice to what the work you are doing. For example, if you say that the spinal injury, as a team member, I must to know what are the various levels of spinal injury, what are the various causes of as a for a expert opinion, I can always go to any of the doctors or a surgeon or a neurologist. They will always
or physiotherapist.
They will always help. But at the same time, it is always better that you yourself will also have a little bit knowledge of that, so that things will work in a smooth way. So we had a basic assessment of the cervical injury from basically from C1 to C6. What are the level of spinal cord injury and what kind of possible residual ability the person can have if you have the various levels of injury. Like one C1 to C3, the possible residual ability is limited head and neck movement. C3 to C4, head and neck movement. C5 head, neck, shoulder and limited hand movement, and C6 head, neck, shoulder, arms and wrist. So this is the information from the literature, from the neurologist we get that okay, this is the possible residual ability that you can get from a spinal cord injury person. Okay. Now coming to what kind of possible modes of assistive devices, because here we are talking about the technological aids which they can use. For example, I said the first interaction is with a paraplegic boy who are very keen to use the computer, but as you know, this huge keyboard he cannot operate. He cannot operate because of the limited movement of his arm, and there are various other problems. So that is how we started thinking of there are various modes of assistive devices, not only to computer. For to operate environment control units, we call it as for a bell, that is an environment control, switching off a light, switching off a fan, switching off a TV. So anything which is nearby, if he has to sit in a room 2-3 minutes independently without any assistance, he can at least call a person with a bell, whatever capability he is having. So this is what we call it as the environment control, to operate the environment control units.
मतलब आप ऐसा कंट्रोल उसको देना चाहते हैं जिसकी वजह से वो अपने environment को खुद कंट्रोल कर सके.
Like for example, when I sit here, if I want to switch off the fan, I can switch on it.
So you should be able to.
I will be able to. So whatever ability he has, if you don't have the movement ability, yes, what is other ability he has, so that he can do that. So this is possible assistive devices, we call it as. So I am not talking only about operating a computer, talking about other this kind of environment control also. Wheelchair also will come under that.
या
Okay. So
कहने का मतलब कोई सी भी जो डे टू डे मर्रा की जो काम हमें करने होते हैं वो हम बिना किसी मदद पे जो इंसान है जिसको कोई स्पाइनल इंजरी हो चुकी है तो वो खुद पे खुद कर सके, ये कहने का
spinal
मतलब।
injury, you know that most of the people have in a severely disabled condition.
immobile.
It is, हाँ, immobile है. Even if mobile होगा तो या तो half the portion या one side. So whatever they have, so we are trying to utilize that particular ability to get some of the devices operational. Okay, so we assist after getting the information from the doctor and physiotherapist. Okay, this is the possible of movement they have. We thought of whatever the possible modes of assistive devices he or she can operate. It could be a mouse operation, but mouse operation means it may not be with a hand, it may be with head movement or eye movement, it touchpad activation with a neck movement or with a limited hand movement, or joystick operation with sip and puff means blow only, and then environment control unit with various sensors which is available. So this is the same either environment control unit or any of the small computer input devices so that they can operate. So what kind of principal users will come under this category? Since we are talking about the spinal cord injury, it could be a nerve damage to hand, arm, leg restricting, limited range of motion, hemiplegia, paraplegic, tetraplegic, muscular sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, cerebral palsy.
तो मतलब ये सारे लोग जिनको ये प्रॉब्लम्स हैं
हाँ.
वो इन असिस्टिव डिवाइसेस को इस्तेमाल करके अपनी लाइफ को इंडिपेंडेंट बना सकते
that
हैं.
independent again I told you in the beginning, that is how much independent he can be, that
to the
depending
extent
upon,
possible.
to the extent
To the
possible,
extent
to the
possible.
extent possible. Okay. So the objective was either a mouse operation or a touchpad operation or a joystick operation, or I said the environment control units which can be a calling bell, a light, TV, fan or anything, or special keypad. So any of these devices. Now when we as a team in our lab, when we devise something, the best thing is that it can always be modifiable. It is not that you import something from the US and once it is in a non-working condition and you just throw away. You cannot do anything. But when we have something in our own lab, the best thing is that first of all we can customize. Customize means it is mandatory that it cannot be generalized.
Exactly.
This is the main problem in our country, that no manufacturer is coming to take up the things, the prototypes, because they know that it is not a bulk market. So
it has to be tailor made.
It has to be
बच्चे की need के हिसाब से
customized, tailor market. So little bit they may be able to do the adjustment, but to me it appears that all are individualized. Most of the devices has to be individualized, because the way somebody's movement may not be the way some other person is doing the movement. So that is the main problem here. Even if we have prototypes, it is very difficult to get the manufacturer for that. But there are so many things, like it is flexible, it is easy to use, it is simple, it is you can customize it with, you can open it and then modify it. Everything you can do yourself if we have an in-house solution, right, compared to whatever you are importing from the US or other.
तो डॉक्टर साहब मैं एक सवाल पूछ सकती हूँ कि ये जो प्रोजेक्ट आपने करा ये स्पाइनल इंजरी पेशेंट के साथ उसके बारे में आप हमें बता रहे हैं, तो ये इसका सैंपल कितना बड़ा रहा होगा, कितने पेशेंट्स?
I will tell you.
Okay. No, later maybe.
We have tested in basically most of our work was in spinal injury research center here, which was the closest one. That was the only reason, because Apollo is slight far off, and it is not as easy to get into it. And so though the neurosurgeon Dr. Rajendra Prasad was very cooperative, and in fact it was his initial ideas, but then we found this proximity wise it is very easy to interact with. So, most of our patients or subjects were from RCI, but we have from Apollo Hospital. We have tried about 50 to 60 patients over and over again for first trial, then modification, fin trial, then modification, so like that. Now it has flexibility control, continuous feedback, online help, everything is there. Now how as an engineer, as a technologist to work, I will show you a very simple block diagram. Okay, first the block is the human interface. Okay, if you see that human interface means the residual ability of the subject. What ability I will pick up from that person. That is what the block diagram. I think this is very simple, anybody can understand. So, if I have to see, there is a human interface. The objective is that he or should be able to operate something.
Achha.
That comes the last, which is the control device. Achha. Okay, so either in the form of anything to operate a computer or in the form of any switch. For example, I will say a switch which can be act as a environment control unit. Okay, so this is one end. And the other end is the human interface, where the differently abled person is there, and I have to see what kind of ability I am going to get from that person. Okay, that is what we call it as the residual ability measurement.
Achha.
That residual ability measurement could be, it could be an eye movement. Since I am talking about spinal cord injury patients, it could be, it can go up to this extent, because most of the subjects are severely disabled.
But may I just clarify, isn't it something like assessment of a person, like whatever residual potential
it is
he has?
Assessment only.
It is same
It
as
is assessment, because I need to have the assessment. I must know.
Okay, so that's the name you have used, that the first slide of yours, that this one, that
human interface.
Yeah,
human interface is, I have written human interface, residual ability of the subject.
Okay, so which will be received after assessment.
Yeah, after assessment, after assessment. It may not be after the complete assessment. We can start working when we have, this is okay, this is his capability. Then we can go for, when we make the prototype, you take it for testing, then modify it, then again go for, because physiotherapy may the duration may be a long, maybe 3 months, maybe then after. So 3 months you work in this way, then the physiotherapy continues, then 6 months you may need a modification of a bigger space, because his movement might have got improved a bit. Okay, so this is how the trial and modification, and the trial, then the feedback, then the modification, he go on. Finally the physiotherapy said, okay, this is it. He may not be able to gain ability more than that. So that you can give that particular device, okay, this is for you, this is you can use, and then we can train them with the help of the physiotherapist. Okay. So this is when I am talking about a keyboard or any computing, but even for anything, even for eye movement also, because using eye movement we can again have lot of environment control can be operated. Okay, so here human interface is nothing but an assessment of what kind of ability the person
has.
I can extract, or a physiotherapist or anybody can extract from him. This is this thing. And next comes the last I know, I told you that a control device, anything as per his interest. We are not imposing him anything. We will ask him, you wanted to use a computer first, because all the age groups may not be output. What he would like to do it. Okay, you have this ability, and then with the ability we provide you these things. What kind of thing you would like to use?
Okay, तो कहने का मतलब ये हुआ, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, कि पहले पूरा असेसमेंट करके जो आपने लिस्ट बनाई है, वो जो आपने अभी हमें पैरामीटर्स दिए हैं, वो सारा असेसमेंट करके उसके बेस पे हम पेशेंट को वो देते हैं असिस्टिव डिवाइस, सो दैट ही कैन यूज इट
अकॉर्डिंग टू हिज
नीड्स
एंड इंटरेस्ट. वी विल आस्क हिम कि आपको क्या ज्यादा पसंद करते हो. लाइक दैट बॉय व्हेन द न्यूरोसर्जन वाज सेइंग, ही वाज वेरी कीन टू यूज द कंप्यूटर, सो दैट इज व्हाई वी आस्क्ड हिम दैट व्हिच वे इज मोर कंफर्टेबल टू यू, एंड देन वी विल हैव आवर ओन असेसमेंट आल्सो. ओके, दिस विल बी मोर कंफर्टेबल फॉर हिम. Okay, so according to this, we will give. Okay. Now, the thing which comes in the middle, that is the signal conditioner, is our job as a technician. How you can convert the thing which you are taking, suppose eye movement or hand movement, okay, how you extract this movement, convert it into many other things, and finally to a voltage level so that the thing can operate using a simple battery or a adapter plug. So that job which is in between us will be
done by engineers.
Yeah, done by engineers. It can be many things, like for example, I am saying signal conditioner because you have to have some knowledge of the signal processing, electrical engineering or something. Suppose it is an implant. Okay, then you have to take the help of a tissue engineering person or a polymer science person.
Okay.
Okay.
If it is like a person is unable to eat with a spoon, तो उसके जो हाथ की मूवमेंट है ज़्यादा नहीं होती, इतनी होती है.
Right.
उसमें भी उसका इस्तेमाल हो सकता है.
हाँ, हो सकता है. Right. Yeah, we can have devices
which you can use to.
It is a mechanical engineering thing basically. It is a mechanical engineering. So we have to devise certain things which is mechanically work in a with his precision so that it will reach his. Okay, so this part is for the technologist. Okay, it can be, as I said, it can be signal conditioner, or it can be, as for an example, it can be tissue engineering, which comes under again under biomedical engineering, or poly material things, which again comes nowadays nanotechnology. So many things are there, so that you can cater it for the needs of it.
One question, it's not question, it's a curiosity, if I may ask. When I'm just listening to this, I'm just wondering what percentage of engineers are coming forward to help in this field?
That is the problem I said in the beginning, why the biomedical engineering has not so much progressed in India.
But it will be such a good thing, we can have a
you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
One has to have a passion for it. Then work for the society.
I remember, if I may share with you, I remember people from architecture branch coming to us and saying कि हम dissertation इस field के लिए बना रहे हैं, barrier free building के लिए, तो आप हमें guide करो. But so far in my career of 25 साल में मेरे पास कोई engineer नहीं आया अभी तक कि हम कुछ कर रहे हैं और आप हमारी help करो. I'm just sharing. So I just wanted to know, like, are these people aware that how much they can contribute towards this field, or it's just that they're not willing to?
See, ma'am, to answer this question, as I said, an interest or passion is needed. But then, this is my own experience I am saying. When I started presenting my work, when I started working a little bit here and there, I was so surprised. The audience means the people who came to attend conferences, most of them, one of the person in the family is disabled. That is why they have come. So I was so surprised that many people have come and asked me whether your some daughter or son was this way, which I felt very bad. So that is probably the basic intention. Unless and until somebody of your family or your close person is in this condition, then only you will go for this. This is my experience. I do not know about others, because I have a personal experience of many people coming and asking me, because I have seen that somebody's daughter is of this condition, or son is in this condition, mother or father, somebody is in this condition, so that they have a great intention of working in
Although this is not related to this field, but I would like to clarify, I also felt the same thing initially, but now it is one of the careers. And जो young लोग हैं, right after 12 they are opting special education as one of the careers. तो अभी बहुत change आ गया है. पहले लोग यही सोचते थे शायद charity या कोई घर में कोई होगा इसलिए इस field में आए. But now it is like any other field, like engineers, doctors, special educators, audiologists, speech therapists. तो अब काफी बदल गया है सी,
Awareness हो गया,
बट
yeah.
एज यू सेड वेरी राइटली कि
Yeah, in the
है,
beginning probably people
या
were
तो शायद इसलिए
hesitant
नए
to
लोग आ रहे होंगे.
Okay.
एंड देन आई थिंक यू नीड टू हैव एन एटीट्यूड एंड
Yeah, you have to have an interest in
mental
this one,
set
mental
also
set,
for
yeah.
working this way.
Yes.
Sorry for this digression, but I think this is very, very important.
No. And more, see, engineers and doctors, they work in two planes, you know, they are totally in a different plane. So you have to understand each other. I will not blame a doctor if he made me sit half an hour, even if he calls me, because I know that he is not, you know, idling there, or he is not chatting there with somebody just to avoid me. I know that he is too much of workload for him,
Exactly,
and he is into it. So I don't mind even when
waiting.
generally they call for discussions,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and then I had to sit
Yeah.
there for
As long as we
20,
get their
30
help is
minutes.
fine with us, even though we have
So,
to wait a while.
you know, you have to have this kind of mentality that unless and until you believe that person, he is ready to share his knowledge, but he is not showing any high-heartedness, he is into his job, he is, and we can see the heavy rush of
Yeah, sure.
patients to
Yeah, that's true.
neurologist or any sort of doctors in that case. So these kind of you know, problems or mentality you
Yeah.
must have to deal with. The same, they also should have a proper way of dealing with us also. That anyway.
Yeah, I think I would remind my viewers, because this topic is very interesting and I'm sure our viewers are also finding it of great interest. तो मैं अपने व्यूअर्स को फिर से रिमाइंड करना चाहती हूँ, अभी तक हमारे पास कोई कॉल नहीं आई है, या तो आप बहुत ध्यान से सुन रहे हैं हमारी डिस्कशन को और अपने क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम कर रहे हैं, पर मैं चाहूँगी कि बीच में कभी भी आप हमारे डॉक्टर साहब से जो स्टूडियो में प्रेजेंट है कोई भी सवाल पूछ सकते हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये प्रोजेक्ट करा है बच्चों के साथ, स्पाइनल इंजरी पेशेंट्स के साथ ये प्रोजेक्ट हुआ है, और उनके लिए क्या क्या असिस्टिव डिवाइसेस बनाई हैं डॉक्टर साहब ने विद इंजीनियरिंग इनपुट, वो डॉक्टर साहब हमारे साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं इस स्टूडियो में. तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप जितने प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं प्लीज़ पूछिए, जिस तरह से मैं डॉक्टर साहब से प्रश्न पूछ रही हूँ.
Should I continue?
या प्लीज़ कंटिन्यू.
Now, then comes the total engineering aspects, like how
hardware
you,
design.
how you go for the hardware design, and how you design the software, which needs to it has to be along with that. You know, for operating a hardware, you need the software. For operating the software, you need the design. So then hardware design covers, it could be electrical, it could be mechanical, it could be computer engineering aspects. Okay, so the way you are saying that if somebody have to feed, mechanical engineering aspect has come. If it is simply to to do with a computing accessory, then pure electrical engineering and computer science comes into picture. So depending upon the design, hardware design, what kind of engineering input demands comes into picture. Then comes the applications, you know, whether it is on-off switches for environment control units, or opening and closing of rooms. Suppose the person is lying down and then he can control the opening and closing of the doors, it can be done, or flexible keyboard or wheelchair movement, it can be anything, though I listed very few of them. Then software design with respect to the hardware. If it is a computer device, then like how you operate a word software, you have to have your own preference settings, you have to have add-on dictionaries, because in most of the word software you have. So depending upon the hardware, whether it is an environment control unit or whether it is a computing accessory, you decide your software design. As much as possible flexible, and as much as usage points added on to it.
Okay. तो कहने का मतलब कि उनको इतने सारे I mean again for my understanding and for viewers understanding, कि कहने का मतलब यह है कि सॉफ्टवेयर डिज़ाइन सॉफ्टवेयर इस तरह से डेवलप हुआ होगा कि जब ये जब ये ऑपरेट करेंगे कंप्यूटर को, तो उनको आसानी से जैसे मान लीजिए उन्होंने वर्ड पे जाना है.
Suppose he wanted to type water.
Okay.
For as it is easy for that person who type it with difficulty, suppose as soon as he types W and A, suppose 2-3 words comes on the screen
अच्छा,
starting
अच्छा.
with a WA है,
तो वो उस पे टिक कर देगा
टिक
उसको क्या
करेगा
चाहिए.
तो so what, so that is the predefined dictionary for him.
ओके, तो इस तरह से सॉफ्टवेयर पहले से ही
Software
बना है.
पहले से ही we can, like
Okay, okay.
suppose he wanted to write apple, AP, the moment he writes AP, this word starting with AP will come on the screen, so that APPLE he can click out of that.
Okay.
So this way, and then he can have his own preference setting also. He can discuss with us and say, okay, these are the words I use frequently, so that आप उसको डाल दीजिएगा.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the preference setting. Then you can have add-on directory.
Okay.
ठीक है, फिर पंक्चुएशन मार्क्स वगैरह जो भी डिफिकल्ट है उनके लिए हम उनके लिए आसानी से एक अलग से प्रोवाइड करके देंगे, सो दैट इट कैन बी इजी फॉर हिम टू यूज.
तो मतलब इंडिविजुअल की नीड के हिसाब से वो क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहा है, हम उस हिसाब से इंजीनियर की सहायता से सॉफ्टवेयर बना सकते हैं, और जिसकी वजह से वो कंप्यूटर को बड़ी आसानी से
चला सकते हैं.
वंडरफुल.
That is simply programming techniques.
Okay. जिस तरह से हमारे विजुअली हैंडीकैप के लिए सॉफ्टवेयर बने हैं, डेजी है, यू नो, चेंजिंग टेक्स्ट टू ऑडियो एंड ऑडियो टू टेक्स्ट एंड ऑल.
सेम वे इवन इंटरनेट एक्सेस आल्सो, एक क्लिक करेगा तो इंटरनेट में जो उनको म्यूजिक सुनना है तो म्यूजिक से 2-3 साइट आप डाल के दे दीजिएगा, सो दैट ही डोंट हैव टू ऑल द टाइम टाइप www व्हाटएवर इज द साइट नेम. सो इसी तरह उसको या तो उनसे पूछ के आप उन डिसाइड कर लीजिए क्या क्या उनको प्रेफरेंसेस है, सो दैट प्रेफरेंस सेटिंग कैन बी डन. सिमिलरली प्रेडिक्टेड वर्ड्स, एज आई सेड, then channel selection again, you know, whether internet में जाना है या music side में जाना है, whatever, you know, a preference setting. Then symbol based communication, that is another thing, because अगर पानी का ग्लास, पानी चाहते तो पानी का ग्लास दिखा दो उनको, या बुक चाहिए तो बुक का वो सिंबल दिखा दीजिए.
So जैसे हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को ये पता है पिक्चर कम्युनिकेशन कार्ड्स हम यूज करते हैं,
हाँ,
पर अब ये इधर आ गया.
कर सकते
Very
हैं.
nice. Yeah.
Now this is, you know, how we move ahead with the work. First the residual ability assessment, and it is always better if you work in the team and get the proper information of the residual ability. Then comes the hardware development, along with side by side the software development will go. Then go for testing with what kind of patients you are intended to use this particular device.
मैम मेरा एक सवाल है थोड़ा सा डॉक्टर साहब. लाइक अभी तक हम ये करते हैं, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट मेंटली हैंडीकैप्ड चिल्ड्रन राइट नाउ, बिकॉज आई वर्क विद देम. अब जैसे हम असिस्टिव डिवाइसेस, मैं ना तो मैं डॉक्टर हूँ ना मैं इंजीनियर हूँ, पर हम जैसे अगर बच्चा, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि खाना नहीं खा पा रहा, या अपने कपड़े नहीं पहन पा रहा, या झाड़ू नहीं लगा पा रहा, तो हम जो डिवाइस है उसको थोड़ा सा सिंपल कर देते हैं अपने हिसाब से. जैसे कि हैंडल थोड़ा बड़ा कर दिया, इतना नहीं पकड़ पा रहा था तो मैंने उसको यहाँ पे कुछ लगा दिया कि वो पकड़ पाए. तो आपके हिसाब से वो काम हम ठीक कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हमने इंजीनियर्स,
क्योंकि आप हमें जब बताओगे कि आपको क्या चाहिए, बिकॉज our mind may not go to that extent, because we are not every day dealing with a mentally retarded.
तो इसका मतलब हम गलती भी कर रहे होंगे उसमें, तो हमारी गलती है कि हमने इंजीनियर्स को आज तक कांटेक्ट नहीं करा.
कांटेक्ट कर लीजिए हमें एंड देन बता दीजिए.
आस्किंग कि हो सकता है जो, क्योंकि कई बार जो हम असिस्टिव डिवाइस बनाते हैं वो हमने तो बना दी, बट शायद वो एक बच्चे के लिए वो यूजफुल है, पर शायद दूसरे बच्चे के लिए वो नहीं है.
This is exactly, ma'am, I came into this field, I told you that one call came from Apollo Hospital, neurosurgeon said
you
that
told
you
me about
please.
this case.
So this is how I got interested, and then I found that this is very interesting, and then it gives lot of peace to the community, and then the societal service also. And so like that, what you can do is, you are all the time dealing with mentally retarded, you will be the best person to tell what is they require, and then बस ये बता दीजिए हमें ये चाहिए,
हमें ये चाहिए, पर वो एक्यूरेट बनेगा कि नहीं, पर आई थिंक उसके लिए हमें इंजीनियर्स को कांटेक्ट करना चाहिए.
Whenever we make something, वो एकदम परफेक्ट शेप में कभी नहीं आएगा. It has to go for testing, then it will come back for the feedback will come, then go for modification. That is the prototype that we are talking about. If the prototype is working fine, then only it go for a final the product, isn't it? So एकदम से वो फाइनल करके नहीं बनेगा. It will go on modification and then finally.
But they need to be consulted.
Yes,
that's what
it
I'm trying to say.
needs to be, first of all, convey the requirement, and then let us see if it is possible or not. You know, whatever is the activities the child can give. and like for mentally retarded, their cognition is not, so
Yeah.
we cannot give this kind of things to them. That is what I said, that
Exactly.
a proper assessment of cognition and the physical level and all this assessment is needed,
Durable,
and decided what kind of device or things is best suited for that particular person. Okay. Then finally come package development and documentation, that is the last stage for this. So, this is again the same thing. Then we have designed three devices. One is using blow.
Okay.
As I said, you know, that because there are certain patients or subjects, they can only blow. Their blow
कहने का
is
मतलब फूक मार के.
फूक मार के, it is blow. So, what we have taken out of them is that the blow is taken as a reliable residual ability from them, because they can do that
Okay.
without any problem. Whether any other part of the body is working or not working, this blow is working fine with them. Now it is our part to decide what kind of thing can be made by this blow. Okay. Now what we have done is we made, so for us it is a pressure sensor. When you blow, or in other way, suppose you know we are using the environment control, I said switch, we are using our finger to switch on the switch and off the switch, that is a finger pressure. The same way he is using a blow, that is again another pressure. It is not a touch pressure, but it is a pressure
blow
of
pressure.
the blow. Both are the same. The same means pressure.
Pressure.
Only. Okay, this is a different type of pressure, the
Yeah.
other one is a different type. So what we have, we can extract in an engineering point is the pressure of the blow. Okay, what is the pressure which is measured in PSIs? So there are two kind of approach we can have. One is that depending upon the person. Okay, if he can blow in different pressures, that is we have a level that is up to 15 psi we say. So either take the different level of blow and then each level you design for a particular device, that is for light. चलो इतना प्रेशर से ब्लो करोगे तो लाइट ऑन हो जाएगा, इतना प्रेशर से ब्लो करेगा तो फैन ऑन हो जाएगा. So you know the device will be made like that, that
I
we
see.
that we say that with varying pressure, different levels of pressure. Suppose वो possible नहीं है, उनको अलग अलग प्रेशर से ब्लो करना नहीं आता, वो तो या तो एकदम से ब्लो करेंगे. So what we take from him is let him blow with that pressure, with plus minus we have all that error mechanism and all, but then number of blows, एक blow से लाइट ऑन हो जाएगा, दूसरा ब्लो से फैन ऑन जाएगा, दैट मीन्स 2 blow is needed to switch on the fan, 3 blow is needed to switch on the TV, 4 blow is, so it is a combination mechanism. Okay.
और अगर जिसका जो ब्लो से प्रेशर नहीं डाल सकता उसके लिए आप वो टच वाला प्रेशर यूज कर लेंगे.
वो तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द रेसिडुअलिटी, मैंने बोल दिया आपको. तो which one is more reliable from that person, and this blow switch is very good for geriatrics also, जो old age.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting conversation going on here in the studio, and I'm so happy and so thankful to Dr. Mann that who has come and sharing with us what are the various devices they have made for people having spinal injury, and right now we are
spinal injury, I said, because the project is taken for spinal injury,
but anybody who is having that
can
problem
be used for various other rehabilitation.
तो अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं जो आपने devices बनाई हैं, but I think it's time to take a break and we'll be right back and with much more information and interesting demonstrations. वेलकम बैक दोस्तों। जैसा कि आपको पता है कि डॉक्टर संतोष आईआईटी दिल्ली से हमारे बीच में हैं और वो हमको बता रही हैं कि रोल ऑफ बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियरिंग इन इम्प्रूविंग द क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ ऑफ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी। और वो चर्चा कर रही हैं आज एक प्रोजेक्ट की जो उन्होंने आईआईटी में लिया और उनमें उन्होंने कौन कौन से डिवाइसेस बनाए टू इम्प्रूव द लाइफ ऑफ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी, वो उनकी चर्चा हो रही है। सो वी विल कंटिन्यू अबाउट दिस डिस्कशन एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर साहब टू प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
So we are talking about the blow switch, that is with the use of blow as the residual ability, how a person can operate the environment control devices. There are two types of mechanisms we have used. This is a very premature or first level version of that. I told you one is the pressure pulse based, one is the pressure level based. Okay, one is with the number of pulses, those who cannot blow with a varying pressure, or if they can blow with a varying pressure, each pressure level can be used to activate certain environment control unit in the form of a calling bell, in the form of a light, in the form of a fan or a TV. Or this is a very the initial design, a circuit board we say, which is on a breadboard and which can be used for testing and modification. So finally we can make it into a package in which a small thread can be given, I mean pipe you can say, can be given to blow, and then that can be very conveniently kept either at the pocket of the person or can be attached with the wheelchair or can carry effectively, you know, so that whenever he needs he can blow it and convey the message. And as I said, this was very good for geriatrics also, and somebody have taken from us for her old mother, so that you know she can blow it and then she can convey the message, whether to operate the calling bell or to call the person or things like that.
तो मतलब कि इस डिवाइस में डॉक्टर साहब आपने ये बताया कि ब्लो का इनपुट यूज हो रहा है, ओनली ब्लो, और अगर वो ब्लो करेंगे तो वो अपने इन्वायरमेंट को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं
using. It is the same the way we do with finger pressure, there you do using the blow pressure, that's all. So this is a very I mean circuit diagram we call it as. There is a pressure sensor. As I said that the pressure has to be sensed. So we use a pressure sensor when the person blow, that is a small pipe which goes to the pressure sensor. The pressure sensor senses the pressure, then go to amplifier, because it will be very low, it has to be increased, that we call it as amplified, then it go to various other electronic circuitry, then finally relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, relay 4 are the various devices. The relay is the one which operates the device.
तो ये स्विच बनाया है इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट में.
So 4 devices is shown here, that 4 relay means 4 devices. So this is depending upon the chip that you use, electronic chip you used in between, so that n number of devices you can operate with a various levels of blow. Okay, the same way we can have the pressure pulse based. I told you that you know various the sequences of pressure, either it will be 1 blow it will operate one thing, then 1 and 2 blow it will operate another one. Yeah, those who cannot operate with various pressures, varying pressures. Okay, that is called the pressure pulse based. 1 pulse, then 2nd pulse, then 3rd pulse, then 4th pulse, things like that.
तो कहने का मतलब हुआ कि एक ऐसा स्विच बना है जो कि ब्लो के साथ ऑपरेट होगा. जो लोग ब्लो कम या ज़्यादा नहीं कर पाते वो 1 ब्लो या 2 ब्लो या 3 ब्लो कर सकते हैं, और जिसको करने से उनका जो इन्वायरमेंट है वो कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं.
This is what we have done. If you show this, this is what we have done in Indian Spinal Injury Center, where it has been tested on various spinal injury patients. And if you see the last one where a small blue box is there, that is the device, you know, so that you can carry in the pocket, or it can be attached to the wheelchair, or yeah,
kahin bhi le ja sakte
convenient position he can held the way he wanted to, so that he can blow. This is the testing time that we have taken here. Now another thing which we have devised as a team is the touchpad, because the person who cannot have a wide movement with his or her arm to operate a proper normal keyboard, is reduced to a small touchpad. Okay, only the arrow keys has been used and the entire keypad can be emulated using this.
अच्छा अच्छा
Simply by touching with his limited movement. Can I show this?
तो उसमें
So this
अच्छा,
is
ये
the
वाला,
final.
oh.
Yeah, this is the final form where the only the 4 arrow keys and an enter key is used here. Okay. So
Okay.
this can go into there is a RS-232 port we say, which will go to the computer,
Okay.
and the person who have a movement problem can replace this big keyboard using this one, but all of this keyboard functionalities I have made in this particular one. Okay, so this is what we call it as a touchpad, and there is a user manual also.
तो कह
for this.
सकते हैं कि हमने ये कीबोर्ड को मॉडिफाई किया है.
Modify kiya according to that person's
Person's
movement.
movement.
This is again, you know, it can may not be generalized as I
Acha.
said. This is for a person who have this much of movement, hand movement, so that he can have either he can, this is simple touch, he can touch his hand like this and do it, or he can have a metallic strip and then he can touch this also.
तो कहने का मतलब सिर्फ 5 की को इस्तेमाल करके वो सारा
कंप्यूटर को
इस्तेमाल कर सकता है.
I mean, at least a word can be full-fledged word, and then internet surfing, all this can be done. He can use email, he can type letters, and then this is a small manual which is accompanied along with this, so that you know all the working principle is
इसको जरा दिखा देंगे हम सब व्यूअर्स को.
word editor. Yeah.
इसमें सारा मैनुअल
Manual how to operate this particular keyboard has been given. So this is the initial version on the screen. This is the basic working principle. As I said, a computer can be operated, and the middle keyboard you can eliminate that one. Okay, the full-fledged keyboard which is shown in the middle,
वो नहीं चाहिए.
वो नहीं चाहिए, because he cannot or she cannot use that one. So instead of that, this will take over
Touchpad.
and then it can. Okay, we have given the name touchpad just to give a name.
But actually there's a keyboard.
It is a keyboard. All the circuitry has been etched here. इसका नीचे सारा etch किया हुआ है, all the circuitry. So it can be used as if you see the board, it can be used. See, the entire keypad will be getting emulated on the screen, and from the screen he can touch this and then type the letters. So this is what is shown here. He can go to the web access also, and as I said that you know the presetting can be done, is already done in the software, but according to his needs it can be modified and it can be done. So this is the boy which we have given the first keypad, and he was using the computer with that. This is the paraplegic boy. For him it has been devised. He is in Apollo. He was in Apollo Hospital. Now he discharged, and then he is Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, New Delhi. So these are some of the patients' information, as you were asking in the beginning. You know, some of the patients, not all of them we have given, but some of the clinical profiles of the spinal cord injury patients which we have tested, and then as per their residual ability we have modified the devices. Okay, now another thing, in a quick way I say the third one which we are working on with the eye movement. Okay, so eye movement is
जिनकी रेसिड्यूल एबिलिटी है आई मूवमेंट
eye movement is the reliable one, we will say. The other one will not be a reliable one. Okay, so eye movement gives a particular frequency and amplitude of the signal. I am talking about all signals. As an engineer I must say it is all biosignals. If I say pressure, it is a signal which I am taking. Okay, if I say touch, it is a signal I am taking. Similarly, eye movement means I am taking the signal from the eye, and then using that signal I am making devices. Okay, so I am not going into the engineering principles of that, but here if you say an integrated eye movement based assistive device, okay, here there are certain electrodes which has been kept on the face. Okay, face not all over the face, but the place where we have to capture the EOG. So this is again with the discussion with an ophthalmologist, you know, he will be the right person to say where to keep the electrodes so that the maximum signal can be obtained for eye movement. Okay. So, signals electrodes has been placed accordingly. There are 4-5 electrodes if you see near the eye. From there the signal has been captured, then various signal processing has been done, and we are in the process of making a multi-mode controller. I will explain to you what is this multi-mode control. This is the principle which I am not going to explain much because it is the engineering principle. This is the multi-mode controller. Okay. So, that means you can have a message display with the eye movement, you can have a text processing with eye movement, you can have a device control with the eye movement, you can have a computer interaction with the eye movement, you can have text to speech, you can have wireless link, you can have a wheelchair. This is with the help of a microcontroller.
So many functions we
So
can
many
achieve.
functions you can achieve. Because when I say eye movement, okay, what kind of eye movement? There is a left movement, there is a right movement, there is an upward movement, there is a downward movement, then there is an eye blink. Okay. So, to me, I am capturing all the signals. That is, if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signals are with me, okay, then I can use the permutation combination of the signals so that I can make as much as devices operated on that. With but it is all based on trend. This is a prototype we are making. This has not been tested the way we have tested the other devices. Okay. This has been devised as a multi-mode controller, as I said. Okay. There are 5 control signals which I can reliably extract from the person. As I said, left eye movement will provide one signal, right eye movement will provide another signal, upward movement will provide another signal, downward movement will provide another signal, then an eye blink. Okay. So, with the signal we are talking about making a multi-mode controller. Okay. If I use the engineering terminology, it is a matrix that we are operating, like 2x2 matrix or 3x3 matrix, you know. With all these 5 control commands, I make use of a matrix, and then okay, if this point is achieving, that is left movement and eye blink, okay, operate this. A right movement and eye blink. I mean, just for example, I am saying, okay, to make things simpler, I am saying that each movement with some particular control, we can have a particular command, but with the help of a microcontroller. Okay, and another chip which I am talking about. So, it talks about the capability of the microcontroller also, and the microcontroller programming also. Okay. So, this is in the lab model right now, which we have not tested, but this is a very interesting application where you can have various different controls in that.
मतलब सिंपल लैंग्वेज में अगर मैं कह सकूं तो ये है कि ये इस तरह की असिस्टिव डिवाइस है जिसमें कि आई मूवमेंट का इस्तेमाल होता है, जिन लोगों की ये रेजिड्यूल एबिलिटी है उनके लिए हम ये असिस्टिव डिवाइस यूज़ कर सकते हैं। पर एक बात ध्यान रखने लायक है कि जब ये डिवाइस बनी, हमने एक जो आई सर्जन है उनकी हेल्प लेके ये इंजीनियरिंग डिवाइस बनी है, ताकि कह पाएँ कि कहाँ पे कौन सा, जैसे कि आपने अभी बताया। तो ये नहीं कि हम उनकी ज़रूरत है, कहने का मतलब ये है दैट टीम अप्रोच between our doctor is very, very important.
It is always better to get, because we do not know that person may have a problem in moving his eye to this direction, that direction, upward direction, and right direction.
And you have used many reflexes. Eye movement towards the right, तो एक ही एक्शन होगा, eye movement towards the left, तो ये एक्शन होगा.
So that is actually the engineering principle which is working in our vision system.
Okay.
Because if it goes to this direction, there is a particular signal which is coming. If it goes to this direction, there is another particular. We are not doing anything for that. We are just extracting the information as exactly as possible.
But this is very, very interesting, I think. And very,
because
very
the body is not only medical science, an equal amount of engineering science is also there. So every movement is associated with a signal which we can capture and process. Okay. Now this I am not explaining this too much, because too much of engineering aspect also. If they ask some question, then I can reply to that.
बट और कोई डिवाइसेस डॉक्टर साहब बनाई हैं, जैसे कि आपने ऐसी डिवाइस बनाई हैं जो ब्लो के साथ काम कर रही हैं, टच के साथ काम कर रही हैं, आई मूवमेंट के साथ काम कर रही हैं, कुछ और भी
Yeah,
बनी
one
है?
more thing, let me talk about this eye movement device. What was in our mind is not only for rehabilitation of spinal injury patients, neuromuscular or blind, it can it can be devised for clinical diagnosis also. As I said, you know, what kind of problem the person is having for the various movement of eye, because we are extracting the signal as it is.
समझ गई.
So
तो
there is
मतलब एक नॉर्मल सोकर नॉर्मल इंसान के लिए भी हो सकता है. लाइक टुडे
it
इफ
can be,
आई
yes.
गॉड फॉरबिड आंख में कोई ऐसी प्रॉब्लम हो जाए तो उसमें मैं भी यूज कर
You
सकती
can use this clinical diagnosis के लिए भी use कर सकते हैं कि what kind of weak signal we are getting from this particular person, whether the signal is coming. And then defense application. Defense application, I must say that, you know, especially for pilots and all, you know, they can have, just by moving his eye they can pass the commands. And then communication, and we are trying to make it a wireless approach also. If I get it, oh sorry, it's going it a bit forward. That means using a wireless link, microcontroller to microcontroller, it can, the same message from one person, whether normal or differently abled, it can convey the message to a distant place also, the same thing. That is why I said defense application. So if there is a question, I will take up that, how it is working.
या
Okay. Now, let me talk about the advantages, which I briefly said in the beginning, because whenever we have an in-house production, we always can have the customized things with us. You know, we can customize it as per the requirement of the person, and then definitely you can make it user friendly. Minimum training, there is a training needed, that is another important. The training must be given to the physiotherapist or the health care personnel who will be working very close to those who are in need of this. We are not saying that we developed something and giving it to him or her and then our job is over. It should not be like that. They have to be properly trained to use that particular device. So for that, a healthcare assistant personnel is needed to make him understand and use it. Similarly, indigenous designs, it is not that design have come from somewhere so that we are depending upon that. Could be extendable, like as I said, that when the physiotherapy is going on and there are chances of the person to gain more capabilities or abilities, it can always modify as per his or her requirement. Easy to learn, easy to, there is a growth potential. Affordability is definitely there because it will be cheap compared to now let me take an opportunity to give an acknowledgement also, not only for all of you calling me here, but at the same time the scientific and technical staff at Rehabilitation Laboratory in Indian Institute of Technology, and then Clinical Neurophysiology Laboratory in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, spinal injury patients, doctors and physiotherapists from Spinal Injury Center as well as Apollo Hospital, providing all kind of help for carrying out this thing, and mainly Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment for providing a financial assistance for carrying out this project. So this is very briefly some of the devices that we are working in the lab. So there are some more. I think I will take up some questions if it is, otherwise if you want.
We'll continue with this. तो डॉक्टर साहब ने, जैसा कि अगर मैं सिंपल भाषा में कह सकूं, एंड यू मे करेक्ट मी इफ़ आई एम रॉन्ग, ये बताया है कि बायोमेडिकल एंड इंजीनियरिंग ने किस तरह से स्पेशल एजुकेशन में एक नया माइलस्टोन, कैन आई से दैट, इट्स अनदर माइलस्टोन इन द फील्ड ऑफ स्पेशल एजुकेशन, जिसमें कि अटेम्प्ट किया गया है, बहुत सारे डिवाइसेस बनाए हैं, जैसा कि डॉक्टर साहब ने अभी एग्जांपल्स देके बताए हैं कि ऐसे डिवाइसेस, असिस्टिव डिवाइसेस बनाए गए हैं और जिसकी इस्तेमाल करने से पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी कैन improve their life, can make their life much more functional and can make their life much more fun and easy also. और पर इसमें जो बताया गया है वो ये बताया गया है कि जब ये हम डिवाइसेस बनाते हैं तो सबसे पहले हमें एक कंप्लीट असेसमेंट करनी पड़ती है, फंक्शनल असेसमेंट करनी पड़ती है जिस पेशेंट के लिए हम ये डिवाइसेस बना रहे हैं, क्योंकि जैसा कि डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि हम इसको जनरलाइज नहीं कर सकते हैं। हम ये नहीं कह सकते हैं कि ये मैंने जो ब्लो स्विच बनाया है सबके लिए एक जैसा है। डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कि आपका प्रेशर कितना है ब्लो में, उस तरह से स्विच बनेगा।
Yes.
तो कंप्लीट असेसमेंट सबसे पहले बहुत ज़रूरी है। उसके हिसाब से ये एक जो है असिस्टिव डिवाइस बनेगी, और डिवाइस बन के ये नहीं कि हमने उनको दे दिया और हमारा काम खत्म हो गया। जैसे कि डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि हमें एक असिस्टेंट रखना पड़ेगा या हमें एक हेल्पर रखना पड़ेगा, या हम खुद उनकी हेल्प करेंगे टू यूज दैट असिस्टिव डिवाइस, और देखेंगे कि उसमें क्या क्या कमियां आ रही हैं, क्या वो इंडिविजुअल वो असिस्टिव डिवाइस उस तरह से इस्तेमाल कर पा रहा है जैसा कि हम चाहते हैं। अगर नहीं तो उससे रिलेटेड उसमें वो मॉडिफिकेशंस करेंगे ताकि वो इस डिवाइस को आसानी से यूज़ कर सके। और डॉक्टर साहब ने हमें 3 डिवाइसेस बताई जो कि बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है और बहुत ही यूज़फुल हैं हमारे फ्रेंड्स के लिए जिनको प्रॉब्लम्स हैं मोबिलिटी की, और या मैं कह सकती हूँ कि जो अपनी ब्लो को, जिनमें की रेजिडुअल ये पोटेंशियल है ब्लो का, उनके लिए उन्होंने ये स्विच बनाए हैं जिससे कि वो अपना इन्वायरमेंट कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, चाहे वो दरवाज़ा खोलना हो, चाहे वो लाइट ऑन करनी हो, चाहे वो लाइट बंद करनी हो। इस तरह से ये स्विचेस जो है इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। पर जैसा कि बताया कि इट्स टेलर मेड, इट इज़ कस्टमाइज्ड, वी कान से कि ये बन गया है ये आप यूज़ कर लो। तो वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट डॉक्टर साहब आपने बताया। और दूसरा उन्होंने बताया टच, जिन हमारे फ्रेंड्स की टच की रेजिडुअल एबिलिटी है, वो उनके लिए ये रेजिडुअल पैड बने हैं और उनसे वो सारा कंप्यूटर अपने कंट्रोल में कर सकते हैं। मैं राइट डॉक्टर साहब? तो जो भी कंप्यूटर के सारे फंक्शंस वो कर सकते हैं, और उसमें सॉफ्टवेयर्स भी डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि उनमें क्या क्या किस तरह के सॉफ्टवेयर्स बने हैं जिनकी इस्तेमाल से वो कंप्यूटर का इस्तेमाल बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं। और तीसरा उन्होंने बताया कि जिनकी रेजिडुअल पोटेंशियल आई मूवमेंट में है, दे कैन मूव देयर आईज, तो राइट लेफ्ट ऊपर नीचे दाएं बाएं उनको इस्तेमाल करके भी ये अपना इन्वायरमेंट को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। आई थिंक दिस वाज वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। और फिर डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि इनके फ़ायदे क्या हैं, ये हमको सबको पता चल गए कि डिस्पाइट जैसा कि डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि एबिलिटी है, अब डिस्कवर एबिलिटी इन डिसेबिलिटी है, वो डिसेबल्ड पर उनमें भी कोई ना कोई एबिलिटी है, जैसे कि टच की एबिलिटी, जैसे कि ब्लो की एबिलिटी, जैसे कि आई मूवमेंट की एबिलिटी। उसको इस्तेमाल करके हमने इन इंडिविजुअल्स की, जो हमारे फ्रेंड्स हैं जिनको ये प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनकी लाइफ को we have tried to make it as normal as possible to the extent possible, ताकि वो भी वैसी ही जिंदगी जी सकें जैसे कि हम और आप जी रहे हैं। Am I right?
Yeah.
And but this is just my own feeling. I hope we have more and more contribution of engineers in this field. I'm so happy to know that engineers are also coming forward to contribute in this field, and I'm sure one day, if this continues, one day I think we'll make this world a
better place,
livable place for our friends who are having some kind of disability or the other. And we are ready to take any questions from our audience. And meanwhile, we will keep discussing about this field, like how engineering has contributed and what your department is doing. Anything else, Dr. Saab, you are doing in your department besides, this project which you have shared with us at, to a great length. कुछ और भी ऐसा हो रहा है या कुछ और होने वाला है? आप कुछ और तरह का, आप, क्योंकि ये फील्ड हमारे लिए बहुत ही नया है.
Well, I was talking only about those work or which discipline which I am more comfortable about. As I said, that biomedical is a very vast field.
Very vast.
Very vast field.
और जैसा कि आपने बताया कि it improves the health.
Yeah, it improves the health in all aspects.
In
like
all
I said, you
aspects.
can have the prevention of
Disability.
diseases, and then you can have the diagnosis of the disease. You can have even the treatment for the. I mean, biomedical can contribute or innovative approaches for this one. One very recent work which we have taken up here is mostly to do with the ancient medical systems. That is, I am talking about the prevention and diagnosis and treatment of because most of the ancient medical system is there, lot of people believe in that, and then but us as an engineer or a scientist, we are trying to validate that, how much it is scientifically valid. You can prove, we would try to prove that everybody is accepting that, the ancient medical systems, which is in the form of yoga or Ayurveda or Sudoku, whatever it is. It is all playing a very vital role or a major role today's healthcare system. But a scientific evaluation, technological evaluation, I say, has not been made so thoroughly into making any claim. So, the recent work which I have taken is a scientific validation and technological evaluation of medical diagnosis, ancient medical systems. So, that is one part of the work I am. Since you have asked me, I just said that this is a very interesting thing that by taking this, for example, in Ayurveda, they say that by taking this, you gain this, this. Okay, so how you can prove? As a scientist, I don't want to believe blindly.
Exactly.
And then in fact nobody would like to believe things blindly. So this is a very interesting project which we have taken. By taking, so how you prove it, by taking the various things which comes out of our body in the form of, again from the form of biosignals, and then pulse oximetry, and then oxygen content, all whatever you can take out from your body in the form of signal or blood sample, whatever it is, you analyze it and see what kind of improvement. If it is, there is an improvement, or if it is, there is no improvement, it is a blind belief. This is not to say anything against
the system, but it's just like trying to validate it.
As an engineer, we don't want to believe things blindly, but as an interest that,
So it's kind of a research.
It is a research. It is
a research today to validate this information,
to scientifically prove whether it is.
Whether this information is correct or wrong, like you have. But that's very true.
That is
and
one
should.
That is one research which is currently doing. Apart from that, the other biomedical field, there are experiment and research going on in the drug delivery things, which is again using nano technology. And there is a lot of tissue engineering is going on in forms of making new implants and then bone material. This is another stream of biomedical engineering, where then polymer science play a very major role again for making implants, and even drug delivery, like drug delivery in patches, like insulin giving in patch, so things like that, so there are various materials you can stick into the skin, and then how it will the porous helps to penetrate the medicine. So these are the various things which is going on as such in biomedical engineering, but I am not part of those tissue engineering and material science, because that is not my expertise.
I can understand, but iska matlab biomedical engineering और भी काफी
I said it can take the total healthcare.
काफी जगह पे
it can
जो है इस्तेमाल हो रही है, जैसा कि डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया एंशिएंट मेडिकल सिस्टम, जो कि आजकल हम लोग सब लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं, बट जो ये बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियरिंग ये प्रूव करने की कोशिश कर रही है, ये प्रूव कर रही है, मतलब प्रोजेक्ट लिए हुए हैं कि इन अदर वर्ड्स कलेक्टिंग डाटा as to prove that this system is helpful. This is the data we have, so this is the proof we have. We all are following it, but the data is also coming in to say yes, it is good, or
We call it as scientific
vice versa.
validation and technological evaluation.
Evaluation, yes.
So
और दूसरा ड्रग डिलीवरी,
deliveries,
जैसा कि आपने बताया कि भाई कौन सा अगर इंजेक्शन देना है तो किस तरह का वो जो
no, if somebody is against injection, you can have a patch delivery. Like you stick certain polymer thing, and the drug will go into the body. So there are so many things how
without affecting the skin जिसको
so that is a polymer science. Chemistry will play a vital role in that, because it is all chemicals, and the polymer is a chemical thing, and then how porous it is, how dense it is, how effectively it will penetrate the skin. So that is a polymer science thing. So since I am not a core chemist or chemistry person, I won't be able to play a major role in that. But if you say that what kind of signal it creates and what kind of interfaces to process this thing, I may be able to help it.
But we can say that कि अभी तक तो हम कहते हैं कि जैसे आपने बताया yoga is very good, Ayurveda is very good. पर आगे से हम ये कहेंगे, see, I have these figures with me, I have this data with me, and it shows that Ayurveda has cured so many patients and this disease.
Yes.
And same way, this yoga has cured this, and I have a data to support that.
Yeah, that's right.
So that is the advantage we have. Yeah.
So this is one way, and as an engineering point of view, we would like to see how effective is certain kind of our own engineering medical system. Not to say anything against it or for it, but it is just a research interest.
Researching, yeah, and researching I think is part of life. We should keep on finding what is good, what is not good. So that is, should go on and on and on all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Research,
research,
all the time searching and searching.
But this is apart from our normal curriculum of teaching and other sponsored research and things like that. So this is a part of our institute policy that we should keep other research alive along with the teaching.
Yeah, another thing which was coming to my mind, like since we are working in the field of special education, I could see that biomedical engineering is helping in the field of hearing handicap. It is also helping in the field of visually handicapped, and you talked about patients having spinal injury. So since I work for the children with mental handicap, I'm sure in time to come it will contribute much more in the field of mental handicap as well.
Yeah, sure. See, I missed one point. I am working with the blind children, that is jo congenial blind, nowadays
total blindness.
Total blindness. Now there are the situation is far better than our earlier years, that so much of NGOs are coming forward to help them in order to give the eye surgery, maybe free or with a nominal amount. So after eye operation, they started gaining the vision. Okay, there are a hell a lot of to learn that how their vision, because their vision pathway, what we have, the vision, a particular part in our brain which is exclusively for vision. Okay, so when there is no vision, generally those neurons, we call it as, are dedicated for other jobs. Maybe it will go, that is why their touch sense is very sharp for the blind, and their hearing sense is very sharp. Okay, now after their eye surgery, they start gaining the vision. So one of the research that we are right now taking into the vision cognition of the blind soon after the surgery, how long it will take them to rebuild the vision. Like, from childhood onwards, we learn by experience, like colors, light. Small children, they start crying in the beginning. Now once they know the light, then they stop crying. Then if there is darkness, then they start crying, because they know what is light.
Exactly.
So similarly, the vision pathway establishes in all of us slowly over a period of time. Now how this is making enough to the blind person soon after the surgery, because how much time for them to take their cognitive abilities to be intact, with full vision. So this is the right now we are doing some experiment with the blind children to estimate their vision cognition. So right now it is
Okay.
the blinds.
या जैसे कि अभी
I am
मैं-
not talking about any device there.
Device
This is
there.
another research area
Research,
which
yeah.
will come into the vision cognition.
या जैसे कई बार मैं सोचती हूँ, it's just maybe my wishful thinking, like our mentally handicapped children, their cognition, as you said, is very poor and their memory is very short. So if I don't know, there are kidney transplant, there are heart transplant. Is there any possibility of brain transplant? I mean, I'm just, I really don't know. But if that is possible, then I think this world will be a heaven. There wouldn't be any person.
That is why it's not
disability.
happening
It's
so
not
easily,
happening so
because
easily.
brain,
Yeah. It controls everything.
It controls
else,
everything,
yeah.
and each neuron produces some stimulus which pass through various
Yeah.
finite pathway to reach our muscle. So it is not just taking out some part and replacing it. What about the connections?
Connections, that's true. So it's not that easy.
It is all over the body, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
from here the stimulus goes and reaches to
Yeah.
our various muscles and places like that. So even for our own purpose, if some part goes bad, it is very difficult
Very
to
difficult,
regenerate. Even neurons are very difficult to regenerate. Once it goes, not like other cells. So I don't think
Yeah.
it is very easy.
I think I should request our viewers once again to call in the studio. हमारे नंबर्स अगर आप भूल रहे हैं तो ये स्क्रॉल हो रहे हैं स्क्रीन पर, जो कि हैं 65116113। टोल फ्री नंबर भी दिया जा रहा है। हम लोगों को अच्छा लगेगा अगर आप हमें कॉल करेंगे, क्योंकि ये टॉपिक एक बहुत ही नया टॉपिक है और बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है। और अगर आप क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहें तो आप कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं बिना कुछ सोचे समझे।
I hope I didn't confuse anybody.
No, I think no, not at all. In fact, it's very, very informative, very,
Because I tried to
very
put it as
enlightening.
simplest as possible,
Yeah.
because it was very difficult for me to.
Yeah, but it is very, very interesting, and I say very enlightening to know like so much can be done.
Can be done. Yes,
And,
there are so much can be done.
And the information is that even engineers are coming forward and helping us out to. तो हाँ, तो इस तरह से हमने आज मतलब बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेशन हमने देखा यहाँ पर, मतलब हमने जो डिस्कस करा वो ये देखा कि रोल ऑफ बायोमेडिकल एंड इंजीनियरिंग इज़ एनहांसिंग द फील्ड ऑफ स्पेशल एजुकेशन, और किस तरह से ये जो है हमारे फ्रेंड्स जो कि डिसेबल्ड हैं उनकी लाइफ्स को इम्पैक्ट कर रही है और किस तरह से और करती रहेगी. And I think with this note, I would like to thank Dr. Saab for coming here and sharing her knowledge, which was very, very important, very informative and very enlightening. And I think it has given me a food for thought, like हम किस तरह से engineers को इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हैं और हम अपने फ्रेंड्स की जो डिसेबल्ड हैं उनकी लाइफ को फर्दर इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for coming.
It's my pleasure.
And I thank the audience as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.